Shifting focus to the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Central African nation is reeling from years-long conflict between army and the M23 rebel group. While efforts are ongoing to secure peace, Congolese youth have categorically rejected any negotiations with the M23 rebels. Hundreds of protesters gathered in the streets of the DRC's eastern city of Butembo on Monday. They expressed their support for the country's army and their anger against the rebels.
Today, we have come to show our love and support for our army, the FARDC, which is the only army we have. The people of Butembo, having endured long years of suffering, with the war imposed by the Rwandans through the M23, as well as the massacres committed by ADF, Allied Democratic Forces, want to make it clear that we are not ready to give up. We stand behind our army to support and encourage it to go and drive these criminals out of the forest where they are hiding.
The young protesters called for stronger military action against rebel groups occupying eastern regions of the country and opposed any peace talks with the M23 rebels.
Today, we called for a large demonstration to show that we have had enough of the massacres, to show that we have had enough of the security issues. That is why we called for great solidarity, for strong mobilization to try to educate the population, the entire community, and all the local communities in Eastern DRC, to tell them that if we are currently suffering, it is partly because we are also responsible for our suffering, as we do not support our army.
These protests come as the DRC and Rwanda are continuing negotiations in Angolan capital Luanda to try to resolve the conflict in the region. Several rebel groups are operating in the Democratic Republic of Congo. However, the fighting between the army and the M23 rebels has been the most violent. The M23, or the March 23 rebels, is an armed group mainly made up of ethnic Tutsis that broke away from the Congolese army over a decade ago. The rebels say they are fighting to safeguard the interests of their ethnic groups in the country. For the past many years, the Congolese army and the M23 have been fighting for control of the eastern city of Goma and the surrounding area. A peace agreement was also signed in 2012. However, the rebels have broken the agreement and renewed fighting in recent years. Parts of eastern DRC have been plagued by violence. According to the United Nations, over 5 million people have been displaced in the DRC due to the intense fighting. The conflict has increased tensions in the region, with the alleged involvement of the neighboring Rwanda in the conflict. Now, the Democratic Republic of Congo accuses Rwanda, whose president, Paul Kagame, is also an ethnic Tutsi, of providing support to the rebels. The United Nations also blames Kigali for funding, training and equipping the M23 rebels. However, Rwanda has repeatedly denied these allegations. Rwanda has instead said that it has been taking defensive measures and accuses the DRC of fighting alongside a Hutu rebel group that have attacked Tutsis in both countries. Now, the Democratic Republic of Congo accuses Rwanda of creating obstacles in the peace talks. While efforts continue to mediate between the two neighbors and secure peace in the conflict-ridden DRC, it is the people of the DRC who have been facing the brunt of the violence, and many of them are now taking to the streets to voice their growing anger.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election, explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.